Welcome to the CC Mouse podcast. We are good for your ears. I am the reigning Mario Kart champion, Dan, and you can find me at RFS Dan.
That's just not fair.
Elaborate.
I haven't had a Switch as long as you.
Yeah, but you've been playing Mario Kart just as long as I have.
Yeah, that's kind of true. I'm Jess. You can find me at Snowdogs Vlogs, and apparently I suck at Mario Kart.
That's your soundbite, not mine. So how are you liking the Switch?
I like it. I really do like it. I should have bought it a long time ago when I originally wanted it, so I could have practiced more.
You'll get it. You'll get there. Do you find yourself using it more as the handheld device, or do you have it hooked up to your television?
I definitely use it more as a handheld device. We have it hooked up to the television down here in the basement in the game room, so that when everybody comes over, we can play. But when I use it on my own, I'm definitely using the handheld device.
So fun. What are you playing on it?
Mario Kart and Donkey Kong have been the two that I've really been playing. I tried Super Smash Brothers because everybody said it was great, and I don't know what everybody's talking about because I can't figure that game out.
I cannot either. That's one of the fighting... I was never good at fighting games, and they interest me for just a few minutes, but that one I just don't get. I feel like it's just a big shoving match to try to shove somebody off the edge, maybe?
Yeah, see, and I really like fighting games. Like Dead or Alive is my go-to fighting game. The entire Dead or Alive series I've always really enjoyed.
Really?
And yeah, Dead or Alive is my favorite. I can pretty much beat everybody. That's probably why I like it.
Did you play it in the arcades, like the old school Dead or Alive, when everything was super polygon and?
Yeah.
Oh man, those were cool days.
I think I still even have my Xbox versions of it from when I got my first Xbox.
Yeah.
But I have every single version of Dead or Alive.
I remember playing some of that game. I just remember that they were just characters and there wasn't really much to it. There wasn't like a bunch of weapons and stuff. It just seemed like it was just like fighting.
There's not a whole lot to it, but I would always go through the tutorials. I would pick my favorite characters I would like to play. And then a lot of the times the games would have the tutorials where you're just fighting somebody standing still, but you're practicing the moves. So you're learning the combos and you're learning. And I'm sure other fighting games have that as well. But I feel like with Dead or Alive, the combos were easy. They were easy for me to figure out and easy for me to remember.
Oh, well, maybe you had the makings of a pro fighting gamer.
Yeah, not with Super Smash Brothers.
So you were disenchanted because you figured it was going to feel like a true fighting game and not just like slappy, sticky, cartoony things.
I don't know what I expected. It was game night and Eric was like, "You didn't get Super Smash Brothers?" I'm like, "No, I didn't get it yet."
Like, how dare you?
Yeah, so then we were sitting here and I decided to download it. I could have literally been to Meyer and back faster than for some reason it was downloading. But we downloaded it, and before we even got to play it, he had to leave.
No.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. I'm like, dude, I bought this game for you.
Oh,
not for him, but because you peer pressured me into buying this game, and now you're not even going to play it with him?
I'm going to try it. Oh, that sucks so bad. You should try Stardew Valley.
Yes, that I definitely want to get that. I'm to the point now. I recently learned that they ended the Nintendo Creator Program, so now you can play Nintendo games online without having to be a part of their Creator Program.
Right.
And there's this little tiny part of me that every time I play a game, I go, man, I could just live stream this on Arcade Snowdogs. I don't have to like film and edit it. I could just get on here and play. And so there's like this tiny part of me that wants to bring that channel back to life because of this. Like I could picture Jamie and I playing Donkey Kong together and streaming it, but then there's the work aspect of it.
Right, we can have a Mario Kart battle channel.
I think that would be great.
We could just battle and then we can give out codes and we should battle for money. Are we allowed to battle for money?
I have no idea.
We can battle for gift cards.
I think it would be a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. I've been playing online with other people to learn how to play better. Plus, you have to remember, like, we played Mario Kart on the Nintendo 64 the most.
Yes.
And this is quite a bit different than that. There's things that I didn't know you could do. So the other day I got online and I watched a top 10, whatever the heck the video was called, for Mario Kart. And learned a bunch of things I didn't know how to do.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, the skidding's important and all the other little nuances to make it
always been important in Mario Kart.
No, and the Nintendo 64 Mario Kart was so good. It was all 3D and it was clean, and I loved that one. That was good.
Yep. That was always our go-to Mario Kart game.
I'm glad you're enjoying the Switch.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun on game night playing it with everybody.
Have you played any regular Super Mario U yet?
No, I have it, but I haven't even opened it.
Oh, you have to play that one. The sound is, they're so pretty. I love Mario sounds. They're so clean.
That one you can play that one online as well.
Oh yeah, it's fun because when we try to do it and there's a bunch of us on the screen, it causes the most fights out of any game I've ever seen. Is trying to have two people trying to play on the same Mario screen.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Well, good. Maybe after this we'll have to have a Mario Kart rematch then with all your new skills.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that I'm good, but I think I can win more than one game.
I let you in.
I know. I saw.
Oh no, no, oh,
You're the person on the map.
no. That's not what I meant. You won fair and square.
It's fun. I really like it. I'm glad I bought it. Because I used to play Heroes of the Storm, and I'm not a big first person shooter game, so I know everybody's playing like Apex Legends and what's that other game? That Facebook game. I can't think of the name of
Farmville?
No, there was another
Facebook
like shooter game. Not Fortnite, but Fortnite like.
I'm not good at those. I want to be good at those, but I'm not good at those.
I'm not good at them, and it's not the fact that I'm not good at them. Like, you can't be good at everything. Sometimes it's fun even when you're no good at it. But I just, like, I've never been the James Bond 007 games. I never really enjoyed them. I enjoyed watching them. Like, I always had a fun time watching everybody else play. But then when they were like, you should play, I'm like, no, that's okay.
No,
I can't do the thing with the two sticks where you got to, like, look this way and turn this way. I cannot do that.
Still,
my brain
after all these years,
doesn't do it.
they've been around more than half your life now. You have to learn how to control that.
No, I don't have to. I can just play something else.
Of course you don't. You don't have to. I like throwing the Switch in my backpack just in case I have a few hours to kill here and there. You can just pull it out. I mean, it's kind of long and bulky, but I don't mind playing it on the road. Did you take it with you when you went down south?
No, I probably should have though, because I did have a couple of hours to kill considering we were stranded for over 2 hours because my Jeep broke down.
Yeah, you might have needed a power cord for that. Well, I guess if the Jeep's broken down, your new Jeep?
Yeah.
That shouldn't be happening.
It was great.
So what happened?
Yeah. So we went down to take Shelby for her post-op appointment with Dr. Doyle in Flint, Michigan.
How did that go?
It went really well. I love that vet. He is so funny. He didn't know that the dogs were quote unquote pet celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
He knew that we did things with the dogs, but he didn't actually know like the scale of what we did. So we're talking to him and he's talking about how great her paw's healing and how great she's looking. And he just, I was really aggressive on it and I know you run them and I really wanted to make sure I got it all so that hopefully it never comes back. And he said everything looked great. And then we kind of got talking. Jamie was there with me and we started talking about the dogs being pet celebrities and the fact that we're taking them to Toronto. By the way, anybody listening that wants to meet the dogs, we're going to be in Toronto, Canada for the Canadian Pet Expo in April. Ooh. And we'll be at the Grand Rapids, West Michigan Pet Expo in April as well. Just awesome. Throwing that out there. But anyway.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun. But anyway, yeah, we were talking to him and we started telling him about the dogs going to these places, to these pet expos. And he's like, what exactly do you do? So long story short, we gave him the little rundown and he's like, so your dogs are actually famous. I'm like, well, yeah, you could kind of say that. They are known worldwide. They reach over 4 million people across all their social media platforms. So yeah, kind of. And he goes, I'm really glad you told me that after.
No pressure, dude. Right.
It was so funny the way he said it. I'm so glad you told me that after. I'm like, oh, well, yeah.
Did you make him subscribe?
Yeah, I gave him a card. He asked if we had a card, and he's like, I'm going to look it up. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, here you go. So Dr. Doyle probably follows us now. But I thought that was so funny. But we left there, and we decided, because we were downstate, there's, PetSmarts, and there's actual stores. I wanted to take the dogs to PetSmart. I'm like, we'll film a cute little PetSmart video with them. I wanted to do like an Easter haul, but they don't sell anything Easter themed, so that didn't work. But we filmed a little video, but we got out of the Jeep. Actually, as we were driving to PetSmart, we left the vet's office and we could smell antifreeze. And I actually thought it was the car in front of us. And we were kind of looking at each other going, man, somebody's leaking antifreeze. We get to PetSmart, we get out of the car, and there's like little drops of antifreeze under my car. I'm like, oh, it's my car. And Jamie goes, well, maybe it overheated and bubbled over. Because, it can happen. And I'm going, why would it have overheated between the vet's office and who knows? It's maybe, I don't know. So we go into PetSmart. We come back out. We start driving. We're driving along. Everything seems fine. And then all of a sudden, all the temperatures slowly start rising. And, I can see all the gauges. So we're kind of looking, we're going, what's going on? Temperature starts rising. We can really smell antifreeze. So we ended up pulling off. We're on the expressway. So we pulled off at a gas station. As soon as we pulled into the gas station, there's just smoke coming out from under the hood. Everything is just flashing at us like right as we get there. And we get out, we open up the hood, things smoking like crazy. The Jeep's way overheated. So we opened the hood, sat there. We went inside and got some antifreeze, put some antifreeze in it because it was low. So now we're thinking, well, maybe there's a leak. Maybe there's something cracked. Maybe there's a slow leak. So we poured the antifreeze in it. It didn't all come out. So we sat there for, 15, 20 minutes, let everything come back down to normal temperature and said, well, everything seems fine. Let's see how far we can get. Got back on. We actually, where we were, we decided instead of driving 75 miles an hour on the expressway, we were going to take the back roads where we could drive 55. So took the back roads, started driving, went through Pinconning, Michigan, driving 55. We probably drove for a good 20, 25 minutes and everything seemed fine. We had all the gauges open on the little touchscreen thing and Jamie's watching the gauges and everything seems fine. And then all of a sudden, everything started to spike. We were almost to Standish, Michigan. I think that's where we were. We made it to Standish, Michigan. Pulled into the Burger King parking lot. Things smoking like crazy. Everything's coming out everywhere. We don't know what the heck's going on. So we did it again. We just sat there and waited and then decided, well, maybe let's see if we can drive another 20 minutes. By this time, we were just a little over 2 hours away from home. Right. We knew it was going to take forever if we kept doing these 20-minute drives. So we waited for it to cool down. We went to leave Standish. As we left Standish, we made it like 10 minutes.
Oh, so it's getting worse.
Yeah, it was progressively getting worse. We could drive shorter and shorter distances. So unfortunately, we were outside of Standish. We had to pull into somebody's driveway. We were 7 miles away from a gas station. And I'm like, man, if we can just limp this thing at least to the gas station without overheating it. So we sat on the side of the road for a while, opened the hood, let it cool off. The dogs are going nuts because they're like, why are we stopping and going? Let's cry and make noise because they think they're getting out of the car every time.
Right.
So we ended up, I drove 35 miles an hour on the side of the highway. If I drove fast, as soon as I started to go above that, everything started to spike. So I kind of was like staying in this 30 to 35 mile an hour range, had my flashers on. We made it all the way to the gas station at the corner of 65 and 23. Pulled into the gas station and it was like, that's it. We're 90 miles from home and we're not going to make it.
And at this point, you had been going all day long.
Yeah, we had left at 10:30 in the morning and it was like 4:30 by now. We were supposed to be home by about 5:30, 6 o'clock. Like that was the plan. And we were 90 miles away from home.
Holy cow.
Yep. And now I posted some stuff on the Snow Dogs Vlogs Instagram. And I had so many people going, don't you have AAA? I can't believe you have a car that new and you don't have AAA. Don't you have full coverage? Don't you have AAA?
Yeah.
I'm going to explain something.
Please, because I want to know why you don't have roadside coverage or something like that.
I do.
And his name is Jamie.
A lot of people don't understand how roadside coverage and AAA and towing works.
Okay,
because most people don't drive for long distances like we do. Towing only works for as far as you're paying for.
Absolutely.
Our towing is 150 miles because that's the highest tow package we could get on our insurance. Okay, so 150 miles. We're 90 miles away from home.
Okay.
A tow truck is either going to have to come down from Alpena, which is 90 miles to where we are, and take us back to Alpena, which is 180 miles round trip.
So they charge you to come get you miles?
They would charge the difference between the 150 to however many miles. So if it was an extra 50 miles, we would only be charged for the 50 miles. Like the hookup fee and all of that would be paid for. So our first option, which is literally our first option, was to call the insurance company and call AAA. Okay, we'll just have it towed home. We'll pay the difference. The lady had me on hold, and the first tow company she called said that they could do it. It was going to be $140, I think it was. But they could not come get the Jeep until the next day, and somebody had to be with it.
Right. Damn.
So we would have had to have Greg come get us, which is what happened. Greg came and got us. Go home, drive all the way back down the next day for the tow truck to pick up the Jeep, to bring the Jeep home. Well, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
So we had her call the next tow company. The next tow company flat out said they wouldn't do it. So she called a third tow company, and they said they'd do it. And it was going to be, I don't even remember, $270 or something like that. And it was going to take them, I think she said 3 hours to get to us. So Greg had already left our house and was on his way to come get us. We're not going to wait 3 hours for a tow truck to show up because Greg's got to go to work the next day. We got to drive all the way back home. So we told him no. And I got off the phone with her and I called my mom and dad, told him what was going on, asked my dad if I could borrow his truck. Thankfully, we have friends here who have vehicles and trucks and trailers. And we ended up calling my friend Dan, who has a flatbed trailer. I asked him if we could borrow it. He goes, oh, yeah, it's buried in the snow. I got to go dig it out with the loader.
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh.
I'm like, oh, no.
When you say buried, like, do you mean completely buried?
Yep, which is why he needed a tractor with a loader on the front end to dig it out.
Holy cow.
But he did. He did it before we even got there. He got it all dug out before we even arrived. Greg ended up going to our house, couldn't get in, had to go around and figure out another way to get in our house to get Jamie's Jeep because his Jeep is only a 2-door. We all couldn't fit in it with the dogs, so he had to drive to town, pick up our Jeep, drive all the way down to come get us. We rode all the way back with Greg.
Holy
and then
cow.
It was...
What time was it at that point?
It was about 9:30 when we got to my mom and dad's house. We drove straight from my Jeep to my mom and dad's house. While we were sitting at the gas station, we had a couple people who saw that the hood was open and they come up to us and they ask us if we're okay, if we need any help. One guy got out and him and Jamie were both looking at the engine and he's like, I think your radiator's cracked. And I'm going, why? Why
that? So people there, they just stop and help?
Oh, yeah. That is one of the best things about Northern Michigan is everybody's so helpful. You can't be broke down on the side of the road up here without somebody. And I think part of it is that they're really helpful. But I think the other part of it is we have such a culture up here where everybody fixes so many things. Like there are so many guys up here that work on vehicles and that's just what they do. They know how to fix things. So they see somebody broke down and something just goes, oh, I could work on this car.
Now, here, that is absolutely not the case to the degree where you're almost suspicious of them broken down on the side of the road. If I stop, are they going to mug me? Or so you don't really have that helping hand. Some people will stop, but you really don't have that helping hand like you do back east.
We definitely have a lot of people that, will stop and make sure you're okay. We've done it before. I don't do it. I will say I don't do it downstate. When we see people broke down downstate, it's the same thing. We have that same feeling. But up here, everybody's so nice. We've pulled people out of ditches before. I mean, that's just how they are. So we had a couple people stop and make sure we were okay. One guy wanted to know if we had somebody coming to get us or if we needed a ride somewhere. And I'm going, hey, we got 2 dogs in this car. Yeah, he's like, your dogs are really pretty. But he had a big pickup truck and he's like, I can give you a ride somewhere to get parts. And we're like, no, we got somebody coming.
Yeah, I think you guys are good for at least 1.5 rescues a year. You guys have been pulling people out. I don't know. Did you pull anybody out of the snow this year?
Not so far this year. We did last year.
And the year before.
Yep. And the year before, usually we end up pulling somebody or pushing somebody out of a snowbank somewhere.
That's cool. That's cool. You have a good community there. So what happened next? You got home.
We went to my mom and dad's house, and because our friend Dan lives the opposite way of town, but he's kind of like in between where my mom and dad's house is. If you drive just a few miles the other way, that's where he lives. If you drive a few miles the opposite way, that's where we live. So my mom and dad's was kind of in the middle. So the plan was we were going to go to my mom and dad's house, get my dad's truck. Greg and I were going to go home back to my house, drop the dogs off. That way Greg could get in his Jeep and he could go home. Jamie was going to go out and get the trailer, get that all hooked up, and then drive into town, pick me up, and we were going to head out. Well, I'm home, got the dogs unloaded, fed the dogs, did all that stuff. And he calls me and he goes, I'm just going to go. And I'm like, no, I don't want you to. It's, now it's 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. It's dark. I'm like, I don't want you to go down there by yourself. He's like, if I drive back into town, it's going to take me 40 minutes to come get you. And then he's backtracking. He's like, I can just get on 65 and go.
Yeah. He's been driving all day at this point.
He'd been driving all day. But we kind of, we talked about it. And I'm like, I feel really bad making you go by yourself. And he made the joke and he's like, well, this is what men do. And I'm like, oh, well, okay.
All right.
I'm like, well, he's like, that way the dogs aren't by themselves. And I'm like, all right, I get it. Okay. So he takes off and it was probably 15, 20 minutes after I hung up the phone with him. Mm-hmm. Phone rings and it's Jamie. And of course, he's pulling a trailer. He's in my dad's truck. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, a tire blew. The last time we borrowed that trailer, we blew a tire on it.
Right.
So phone rings and he goes, you didn't give me the keys. I said, you're right. He goes, where are they? I'm like, they're in my pocket. Where's your pocket? It's on my jacket.
Oh.
Keys are... And he goes, I'm coming to town. And I'm like, wait, where are you? And he goes, I'm at the corner I'm past Worth Road and 65. I'm like, just pull over. I will come out there, because it would be faster for me to drive all the way out there than him to pull that trailer back into town.
Yeah.
About 18 miles. He was about 18 miles out of town.
Right.
So I quickly like grab the keys, jump in his Jeep, and take off. And we had hung up the phone. He called me a few minutes later. He's like, I hadn't even made it to Worth Road and 65 yet. So I'm sitting at the end of Worth Road and 65. Now it's almost 11 o'clock. I don't even know what time it was.
Cow. And he's not even close to being there.
Nope, not even close. So I drove all the way out there, gave him the keys. He had a sandwich on him, so while he was waiting for me, he ate. So that kind of worked out, you know.
He had a sandwich on him. Like, to me, that's inside his coat pocket.
It might have been. We had bought him at the gas station, and we were sitting at the gas station, and he didn't want it. So when he left, he's like, give me that sandwich. And I'm like, oh, so I gave him the bag of food and snacks that we had bought at the gas station. So he took all that with him, so he'd have stuff to eat and stuff to drink. So he sat there and ate his sandwich while he waited for me. And I drove all the way out there, gave him the keys, and he took off, drove down there, called me when he got it loaded, said the Jeep's kind of a wide load and almost didn't fit on the trailer. And
he loaded that up with no help?
He loaded it up with no help. The Jeep could drive, so like it could move. And the trailer's a tilt trailer. So all you do is you put ramps on it and you drive up on it. The trailer tilts down and the Jeep drives up on it.
Okay.
So he was able to load it up and strap it down all by himself. No big deal. That was my worry too, but he said, nope, I can do this. So he comes all the way back into town, picks me up. Or no, I met him at the dealership so we could offload it. Because the plan was, we got to take my dad's truck back to him. We're already halfway out to Dan's house. We might as well drop off his trailer.
Right.
We get to the dealership and it starts raining ice.
Isn't that called snow?
No, there's a difference. Snow is snow. Ice is kind of like, raining ice is kind of like hail, but not quite like hail, and it turns the road to solid ice in a matter of seconds.
So kind of like when I get crushed ice out of the fridge.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It was falling from the sky.
Nice. That's
so
good.
I met him at the dealership. We dumped off my Jeep. We swapped the trailer and put it on the back of his Jeep. Drove out to my mom and dad's house, dropped off my mom and dad's truck, made it out to Dan's house, dropped off his trailer. We're about 20 miles from town, and the weather just turned to snot. Like, the raining ice was one thing, but we went from we could kind of see what was going on to we can't see 10 feet in front of us. We could not tell where the road was. We're driving 20 miles an hour, both of us like pressed up against the windshield going, I can't tell where the road is. This is so bad.
Not good.
So, long story short, we made it home at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow. What a very long, terrible, bad, no good day.
Yeah. And the only thing that was wrong, the water pump went out of my Jeep.
Surprisingly, though, you weren't as angry as I thought. I was waiting for like a meltdown or something to happen, and you guys seemed like you were pretty calm and just like it is what it is for that whole time.
Do you know how many times we made the joke, well, at least this is good content?
Right. Yes.
At least we're not sitting in the house doing nothing like we do every day.
At least
this will make for a really interesting video.
Oh yeah. See, when you have that mentality, then things are a lot better.
And I mean, realistically, what else could we do? We could be mad and, pissed off, but like, there's nothing you can do. You get mad, you get frustrated, and now you're just mad and frustrated. You still haven't fixed anything.
That's true.
There's nothing you can do. So we just had a good time. Greg picked us up. The dogs fell asleep in the back of Jamie's truck. We talked to Greg for the 2 hours. Not like we don't see him all the time, but
right.
We talked all the way home. And like, it just, it was it worked out great. I mean, it really did. And we're very fortunate that we have friends of ours that are good friends of ours. Like when I called my buddy Dan is one of those friends that like we don't see all the time. I don't know that he's ever even been in a vlog. I've known him for 25 years. Jamie and I have both known him for like 25 years. He's one of those people that you could literally call at any point in time and he's going to come help you. He pulled us out. We got stuck in the woods one time by ourselves at like 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to work the next day. He was the only person I knew that I could call. And he was like, yep, I'm loading up the stuff. I'll come get you. And he drove out in the woods and helped us get unstuck. Like, he's that kind of a friend.
Yeah, those Dans are pretty good every now and then. You should.
Right?
Is that why you're collecting them?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, just collecting Dans. Yeah. That's good. Here's what surprised me the most. The most is you were up till 4 a.m. and then at 7 a.m. the next day, you're off to the vets again?
Yeah, I had to take Shelby to the vet. She had an appointment the next morning because she had a UTI, so she was getting her recheck to make sure that everything was good for that. So I had to be up the next morning and be to the vet's office.
How did die?
I have no, I can't answer that. I have no idea. It's one of those things, you just do what you got to do.
Right.
I set my alarm. I had to be there at 10:30. I set my alarm for 9:45. At 10:10, I got up.
Yeah, barely.
And it takes me 10 minutes to get to the vet's office. I got up. Shelby was still asleep. I looked at her and I went, well, they gotta, this sounds horrible. They gotta catch your pee anyway. So guess what? You're holding it till we get there. So I loaded her up in the truck, flew out to the vet's office. We got out and I did the thing where I like make her keep her head up so she can't sniff the ground and pee. And I walked in and they all know me. So I walked in and I went, she's gotta pee and you guys need to catch it. And she's really got to go.
Hurry.
And they were all laughing. And they like immediately went and got the tech and did everything they needed to do. So it was.
What a 24 hours.
It was an adventure.
Is there a.
It's one more memory for the books, though. I'm a little. Like, I had a bunch of people going, that's why I bought a Nissan. That's why I bought a Toyota. That's why blah, 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 blah. And I'm going. I don't like, I'm not mad at Jeep because my Jeep broke. I don't know if you know this, but parts break. Things wear out. Yes, it shouldn't have happened to a vehicle this new. Yeah, it's only 2017, but it's got 53,000 miles on it. We tow a trailer with it. We take it off-roading. It's not like we just drive back and forth to work in this car. We use it.
Yeah,
and when you use a vehicle more than just for the standard driving back and forth, parts break faster. It just happens.
Yeah.
Plus, it's been winter. I don't know. Ice could have built up on the water pump and then froze and cracked the water pump. That happens up here. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, things
I mean,
fail.
I was upset that my Jeep is this new and a part broke. But, you know, when you stop and think about it, you go, meh. Happens.
It happens. I'm a little disenchanted though. I was like, oh, it was sad to see that picture with the hood up. Like, it's just sad. Like I had a rough night.
Yeah, it
like,
was pretty sad. That is the first time ever that a Jeep has actually left me stranded.
Wow. That's pretty good though.
Yeah.
You've had lots of Jeeps for lots of years and you've gotten, you take those Jeeps off road. So that's good. That's good odds.
We've always, when something has broke, we have always been able to find a way to limp it home. Jamie snapped a drive shaft. Was it a drive shaft? Yeah. His rear drive shaft in his little red Jeep while we were at the Blessing of the Jeeps. Snapped the drive shaft and we put it in 4-wheel drive and limped that sucker home. Doing like 30 miles an hour for
Up the road.
You know. But we did it. You know, we made it home. This one, there was no way. It wouldn't. When we stopped at that gas station and he put antifreeze in it the last time, it all poured right out. He started pouring it in and it just started pouring right out and he stopped and he said, I'm just going to pour antifreeze all over the floor.
The car got the hint. Did you name your car?
No,
well,
it's the red Jeep.
Well, the red Jeep got the hint. Like, it was like, hey, I'm done. Like,
Yeah.
Get a clue. I'm done.
Yep.
Well, good. At least it all worked out.
But I should have brought my Switch with me because we were stuck sitting there for 2 hours.
Yes. Let's bring this back to the Switch. If you just had the Switch there, you could have been practicing Mario Kart, thus trying to dethrone me.
Which is really funny because my Jeep has a sport mode and I drove downstate and there's a couple places where the road is like really like has these sharp turns. Mm-hmm. And there was one where it's like slow down to 40 and I was laughing. I looked at Jamie. I'm like, well, the speed limit's 65. The 40 is a yellow sign. That's just a cautionary slowdown, right? I think I could take this corner at 65 and just drift around it.
Is your Jeep top heavy?
Not really. When you put it in sport mode, it lowers it down to like car height. So it really hugs the ground.
Oh, okay. Really? That's what it does, sport mode? It like lowers it to the ground?
It lowers it to the ground quite a bit, and then the gears shift differently. So it's more like you're driving a race car.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of cool.
Which is totally what you need in a Jeep.
Right. Just in case you're done going over rocks, you can go really super fast.
Yeah, that's what it's for.
Back to YouTube talk. Did you see that Charles Trippy and the CTFxC daily vlogs are going to officially end?
The Guinness World Record holder for more consecutive daily vlogs than anybody else in the whole wide world.
Yes, setting the standards for vlogs.
And he's stopping daily vlogging. Did you see like the drama that caused in his comments?
I did not, because you sent me a link a few days ago right when that video dropped. I said I was going to wait to the podcast to watch it, and then this morning I sat down a few days later. It's Thursday. I sat down and I was like, I'm going to watch it for the podcast. So I watched that only, but I had to scroll through like 3 videos that said like calm down and stuff like that. So I have not gotten to the comments. What I will say though is I watched the video. I was happy for him, like I get it, But he's only
Right.
going down to 5 days a week. Man, that's Monday through Friday videos. Enjoy your weekend and then come back and see him some more. He needs to go down to like 3 days a week. But it was a great reason, and I get it. And I remember almost 10 years ago when I was watching him going like, wow, like one day this is going to end. And like, this is the beginning of the end.
It started off as a year-long challenge.
Right.
And then it went into the second year, and then it went into the third year, and then he got the Guinness Book of World Records. So then it was like, how long can I keep this up? And like, I had a friend of mine that had been consecutively vlogging, I think, for 5 years, and he kept saying that one day Charles Trippy's going to quit, and I'm going to be able to pass him. Well, he already quit vlogging too, so.
And you're right. And I remember in the beginning, were you there for year one, or maybe year 1, year 2, and then you went back and watched them all?
Oh, yeah, no, I was there in the beginning because I watched Charles Trippy when he had just a Charles Trippy channel.
Yes, when he would sit in his car because he had that other job he was doing. And then the vlogs was, in the beginning, they were weird because it was a lot of the dogs and a lot of just like him trying to figure out what a vlog was because it wasn't that big at the time. But you're right in the fact that everybody was within a month or two of having that record in the beginning. And everybody was within that. And everybody slowly dropped off. But him and Shay Carl stayed. And I thought Shay Carl's had it before him because he was vlogging every day, wasn't he?
Shay was vlogging every day for quite a while, but he would I think he missed a day every once in a while. And then I think what it was is like he quit before. They would always make the joke of, oh, well, when are you going to quit? Because I'll quit when you're going to quit. When are you going to stop doing this?
I do remember that.
And then Shay ended up going, I can't keep doing this. I don't know how you keep doing this. Yeah. And Shay had an editor and everything where Charles still edits his own videos. Nobody else does that for him. And Allie do that.
He is a true vlogger, and he's saved a lot of money as well, Yeah. But there was this long streak of a few years of like they were just so good every day. They were action packed. They were full. It was really, really, really good. So I watched him a little bit in the beginning. And then I watched the video, like I said, of Ali trying to eat the dollar menu at Wendy's, like way back in 2009 or 10 or whatever. Right. And then he kind of fell off the map a little bit. And then Crystal brought him back up to me because he was having that, the brain surgery thing. And that took off around social media. So we went back in and then rewatched all the back stuff. But to me, he's like a true vlogger,
Yeah, I would definitely call him a veteran of the scene, a legacy creator. He's definitely... I was really surprised. I watched the whole video and I understood exactly what he was saying. They have a baby coming.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going to happen. They've never had a baby before. Things are going to be chaotic. There are a lot of things that can happen. And there were people in the comments that were like, oh, you still daily vlogged when you had brain surgery, but now a baby's going to make it impossible. And I'm thinking, that's not what he's saying. He's not saying a baby's going to make it too difficult. I think he wants to experience life as life is, not... oh my gosh, I have to film this. I have to pick up the camera. Oh my gosh, I need this on film. And other people were just panicked because they thought it just goes to show that people don't listen when you talk. They thought he was quitting altogether.
Yes.
And he clearly said that's not what he was doing. He wanted to go down to the Monday through Friday, but he also said they have a set date that they're going to do it. But at the same time, if he still has time to upload every day, he will. There might be times where he uploads every single day for a month and then misses a day or misses 2 days. So like if you actually listen to what he said in that video and then the next video, he really explained it and was like, stop freaking out. Right. I'm not quitting. I'm not going anywhere. I just can't continue to do this at the rate that I'm doing it, which, it's very... he deserves a break. He's done this for 10 years.
He never gets a break.
Yeah, he never gets a day off. Literally never gets a day off. Has to edit every single day. Has to work every single day. It's not like he catalogs, like, I'll fully admit, I vlog most weeks, Monday through Friday, unless I miss a day, which sometimes we do because things happen, or sometimes just nothing's happening, so we don't vlog. But I vlog Monday through Friday. I backlog my videos. I will vlog 5 days straight in a row, and then I'll be like, oh, well, now I got a week, and then I'll continue to vlog for a couple extra days so that the next week, I don't have to worry about it today because I've got 3 days ahead that I'm doing.
Right. It makes you feel like you're doing your homework for the next week early.
Yes, exactly. And he's not able to do that. It's so hard for him to do that. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people freaked out about it and didn't really understand what he was saying. But
right.
Did you see that Guinness is going to change the world record as well.
Yeah, they're retiring his daily vlog record at 10 years. So there's no more consecutive record, which, okay, fine, he wins. Because somebody else could do it, potentially, but no, he wins. Let's end that. He's the pioneer of the sport. Like, it should be called the Charles Trippy Award or something.
Right.
And then they're going to continue it on as just consecutive vlog numbers.
They're going to continue it on as consecutive vlogging. So not necessarily that he has to have one up every day, but as long as he's still vlogging on a regular basis. Now it'll change to, at his 11th year, he'll have consecutively vlogged for 11 years.
11 years. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That I like that. Because I know he was concerned about that a little bit, and I could tell that he still liked the record the way he talked about it in the video. But that is kind of good that there's something to say forever in the Guinness Book of World Records of, like, he was the pioneer of this. If you did it now and broke the record, you're not a pioneer. You're just trying to beat his record. But he was there in the beginning, defined it, had the camera facing at him, went through 3 alleys, went through divorce, went through brain surgery, went through a lot of crazy things, became a musician, and now having a kid. Like, it wasn't that if somebody else had the camera, it might not have been a full life like this. Like, so many events happened and stuff like that it kept it interesting, and it kept you wanting to come back just when you were getting to the point of, like, okay, I know he's doing well, I'll check on him once a week or so on the videos, and then something monumental happens and then you get sucked back in, and that's just his regular life. But we're lucky that he had the will to do this for so many years and had an interesting life.
Yes, and I feel like a lot of people, like, he gets a lot of flack, and I always feel bad for him. Like, he's putting his life out there publicly, and maybe it's because we do the same thing. Maybe we understand it differently than just as a viewer who doesn't create content. But I feel like he's so honest in what he does. He could have quit. He could have quit when he had the brain surgery. I have brain surgery. My life's got to change. I could die. Some people are going to take that and go, that's it. I'm going to live my life differently. But he still wanted to share it. And then the divorce.
Yeah.
They didn't have to share any of that. Like, I mean, and I know they didn't share the fights and they didn't share how bad everything was up until that point. And I do kind of think that part of that may have been a little bit of their downfall, because everybody thought everything was fine. And then all of a sudden,
right
now they're getting divorced, and people are like, wait, we thought everything was fine and you were just in a video together yesterday, and what the heck is going on? And I think his audience at that point in time kind of turned on him a little. And I mean, I was even upset about it. Like, why would you lie to us for this long? Why would you not tell us what's going on? But then you kind of, you take the initial shock of it, and then you step back and you look at reality, and you go, nobody wants to know that you're fighting every day.
I halfway understand that. It's good times.
Yeah, exactly. You watch drama shows for a reason. Like this, you didn't want that with this. You wanted the happy part of life, not the sad part of life. And I think he's rebounded from it fairly well. Mm-hmm. I mean, he took a pretty big hit, and then when New Alley came along, and then that was just another scandal for poor Charles of, oh, you're going to marry another Alley. And then people going, you cheated, and oh, you didn't cheat. And I think it hurt the channel a lot, but I kind of have this sliver of hope that maybe this baby is going to revitalize what they do. I mean, they're going to turn into a family vlogging channel now because they're going to have a baby.
Which is good for a lot of reasons. It's going to be good for the audience. It's going to bring in new people because people will outgrow him. And I hope that he makes it forever, whatever vertical that he goes with. I think you're right that he did suffer a lot on his channel from the decisions that happened on there, but I think he's super underrated. He'll always take the time to talk to you. Like, he was really cool when we met him.
When we met them, met them both at VidCon.
I feel like he's just how he is in the videos. He's just normal. He's just a person, and and he did really well. I just think he's super underrated, and he doesn't give enough credit. Like, even Logan Paul owes it to him. That turnaround, put that camera on your face is what got us super excited back in the day when we watched the videos. So I just think he is super underrated, and I think he'll never quit. That this is what he does for a living. He's not going to get a desk job. He's always going to work in some sort of creative outlet. We'll always see him produce content forever, I believe. I think when I started watching the videos that he was going to go to 2 or 3 days a week, I didn't think he was going to go down to 5. That's still a lot of content.
It is. It is still a lot of content. And I think you're right. I think even YouTube doesn't give him the respect that he needs. You know, when they demonetize his videos and he can't get anybody to respond to him. Yeah, he's only got 1.4 million subscribers or whatever it is, you know, but he's a legacy creator. He's been here since the beginning. Like, you think that would give, like, the platform should care about him a little. I mean, the platform doesn't care about anybody, it seems, anymore, but
Right.
you feel like he should be one of the poster childs of YouTube. Like, he should, I don't know how to explain it. Like you said, he's so real. He's so genuine. They're so nice. Like, they're just the normal people. And you're right.
Yes.
They don't get the credit they deserve.
Don't. He set the standard for a lot of things. And maybe he didn't himself make YouTube a lot of money, but he definitely springboarded and showed the way and blueprinted stuff for other people that did.
Yes, very much so. And he does not get the credit that he deserves for that.
Yeah.
So any of you that are listening and have no idea who we're talking about, the CTFxC, Charles Trippy, and Allie, go check them out, comment on their videos, and tell them that you heard about him through the CC Mouse podcast.
Now is a good time to get on board. They're expecting a baby. Everything's starting to reboot. New stuff's happening, so it's a good jump. Yes, and it's a good jump on time.
Yeah, I think so too. I really do. I think a lot of people know who they are, but I think that, and then I go, you know what? I bet a lot of people, even that watch like my channels, they probably don't know who they are, because we do have a lot of younger viewers and newer viewers. Some of our older viewers probably know exactly who they are, but maybe some of our listeners don't know. That'd be so funny. Just tweet at him and tell him to.
His stuff's really good, though. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen him, I would just go watch his stuff. Even if you go back a handful of years and just watch and play, they're really watchable and it's really exciting and they're good. They're well done. They're really well done.
Yeah, I feel like it's a good. If you like those life story vlogs, it's a very good. It's a very good series.
It's a long life story, but the monumental things that happen. So this will probably bring me right back to him. It's been a little bit, like I say, I see his thumbnails and stuff. So to me, and then I follow him on social media, which to me, he looked very relieved after the day you sent me that link to that he posted that video. I watched some of his Instagram stories and he seemed very relieved. His face looked like it was relaxed more, but apparently according to these comments that you were talking about, maybe that isn't so.
Yeah, it was a little crazy. But, people just don't listen.
Well, anyway, good for you, Charles and Allie. Congratulations.
Yay.
I'll always watch you guys' stuff here and there.
Maybe we'll run into them at VidCon again this year.
Hopefully, I did see that they were creators and that made me happy.
Yeah. They deserved it because last year they weren't even invited. And I thought that was another one of those things. I thought that was crap.
Me too.
They should always be invited to VidCon. Always.
Yeah. All right, guys, so that'll wrap up the podcast this week. But before we go, just a couple announcements. We have been trying to filter out these questions that you guys have been leaving on our Facebook page, and we thought maybe it'd be a little bit more interactive if we had it set up so you guys could leave recordings, and we could play the recordings and answer your questions. So we set up a link to a place called speakpipe.com/ccmousepodcast. The link will be in the description below as well as in our Facebook page, and you can go there and leave like a minute or so recording of your questions. Probably mostly dog-based questions, but also your non-dog-based questions and your feedback about previous episodes of the podcast are welcome. What do you think? I think this will be fun.
I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think it's a way to really interact more with everybody. And questions, feedback, thoughts.
Yes.
You never know what we're going to play on here.
Exactly. But I think this way we'll actually get to the questions because we want to answer them every week and we end up not answering them every week. And maybe this will be a funner way for us to be able to interact with you guys.
I think it's definitely a more interactive way for a podcast. Like, we could read the questions people write and, whatever.
And
but this is more like your voice.
Yes.
Your voice will be on our podcast.
Live to tape. It'll be fun. So let's submit some questions. I do have a quick question for you, though, from Charlie Orr, who just actually wrote this in a couple minutes ago. What did you finally name the raccoon on your dashboard?
I didn't name it. It's just the raccoon. I think we called him Rocky because of the Beatles song Rocky Raccoon.
Rocky Raccoon?
But
not to be confused with Rocket Raccoon, the more palatable.
Not to be confused with Rocket Raccoon. No, Rocky Raccoon.
Yeah.
We never really named it. He just kind of sits there. I actually was supposed to get a different animal for that Jeep because I had that raccoon in the gray Jeep. Because he matched the gray Jeep. But then Jamie has a fox in his Jeep. I should steal the fox and put it in mine. No,
should.
I like my raccoon.
You should just keep the raccoon throughout all the rest of your Jeeps from now on. Rocky the raccoon, right? Is that what we're going with?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's official.
I should find the picture. We used to have a stuffed dog that we slammed in the hood of our white pickup truck. So when you look at the front of the pickup truck, there was like this little dog and little paws out of the front of the truck.
I've seen those with the Garfields. That was really popular in the 80s. You remember like the back half of Garfield would hang out the trunks of people's cars?
Speaking of, we were on the way to Meyer the other day. Greg and I were on the way to Meyer the other day, and I freaked out and I went, "There's a window Garfield." And Greg goes, "What?" I'm like, "Look at the car next to us. There's a window Garfield." And we were both looking at it. It was so sun faded. And it was this little old lady driving the car. And he's like, "She's probably had that car just as long as she's had that Garfield in the window."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with the little suction cup paws. Yeah. Oh, those were so popular back in the day.
Yep.
And here we go, traveling back through time again.
Years.
I have not seen one in years either.
Nope, saw one the other day.
We're always good to travel back in time once an episode.
Yeah. Dating ourselves.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We really appreciate all the downloads and all the support. All the feedback has been really, really good. And we really appreciate that. As we're evolving in the podcast, we're trying to always find better ways to make things sound better, like an intro. And we're trying to put little bits in between. So, we are listening to your feedback. One of the things that you guys wanted us to do was put little sounds or something in between each story, so nothing transitions, so things sound a little bit better in between the stories. It makes sense to my ears when I edit it, but to you guys maybe not so much. So thanks for all the feedback. We are learning. Like I said, it feels like it's like 10 years ago again, video making, where everything just feels new. And
before we started this, I didn't even listen to podcasts.
Oh, that was the hardest part. I was trying to show you no, this thing's been going on for a long time. So thank you guys. You can find us on Facebook at Country Mouse City Mouse Podcast or Instagram at CC Mouse Podcast, and us here every Wednesday. So we'll see you guys next week. Same mouse time, same mouse podcast. Bye.
Bye.
Yay.
Yay, we did a thing.
I did a thing.